My name is Kristen Godfrey, and I'm presenting my LEN final project entitled Determining Preferences for Terminology and Iconography Related to Autism. A little bit of background on person-first language versus identity-first language. Person-first language uses terms such as individuals with autism, has or having autism, which separates the individual from the autism. Identity-first language uses the following terms: autistic, autistic individual, person, or individual. These statements use inclusive language and refer to the person as a whole. The autistic rights movement promotes the theory of neurodiversity. Neurodiversity explains autism as a natural variation of the human brain rather than a disorder. It's a social movement emphasizing self-representation, autistic-led organizations and self-advocacy, a culture of inclusion, and autism acceptance. The movements include using autistic individuals in decision-making because we all know children with autism grow up to be autistic adults. The study aimed to determine preferences for terminology and iconography related to autism among individuals with a diagnosis of autism spectrum disorder and their families. The study explored how autistic adults refer to themselves in comparison to current professional language in clinical and research contexts. For my project, I designed an online survey. The main question I asked was, what are the differences between autistic adults, family members, and professionals in relation to terms and images? The inclusion criteria were as follows: adults 18 years or older, family members with an individual with autism, professionals serving individuals with autism, residing in the US or Canada. Recruitment occurred through the Mind Institute's Facebook page, postings online in forums using IRB-approved recruitment language, Study Page's site, and on a side note, while using IRB-approved language, the autistic community grew a little bit angry at me for using person-first language in my recruitment. I found this humorous because I was conducting a survey to gather opinions regarding person-first language. Participants were asked to rate degrees of preference for terms and images related to autism based on a Likert scale. At the end of the survey, the participant had the option to provide rationale of their ratings and preferences. A total of 82 participants completed the survey, 41 autistic adults, 22 family members, 19 professionals, mainly from the United States. Demographics showed our participants were mainly female with a high level of education, between 25 to 44 years old. The high percentage of autistic female adults from the survey comes from the survey being posted in groups for autistic women. The other two groups are coincidental. The data analysis method used was a one-way analysis of variance and post hoc group comparisons to examine the differences in average preference ratings between our three groups. Survey results showed adults with autism preferred autistic and neurodiverse. Family members preferred on the spectrum and neurodiverse. Professionals preferred autism spectrum disorder and neurodevelopmental disorders. With the highest rated terms for the three groups as follows: autistic adults preferred the term autistic. Family members preferred on the spectrum, and professionals preferred autism spectrum disorder. We collected thoughts regarding terminology. Some of the comments were, I prefer autistic-led organizations. I don't like the word cure, and I don't like the word disorder. I am an autistic person, not a person with autism. You cannot separate the person from the autism. I prefer to call myself autistic. I will use whatever words an autistic person uses for themselves out of respect for that person. Next, we look at the results for imagery. Autistic adults preferred the colorless infinity symbol, rainbow colors, and the rainbow wreath. Families preferred the puzzle piece ribbon and the puzzle piece. Professionals preferred the blue light, puzzle piece, and puzzle piece ribbon. The highest rated icon for autistic adults was the colorless infinity symbol. Family members preferred the blue puzzle piece, and professionals preferred the blue light symbol. The autistic adult preferences differ greatly from the other two groups. I turned to the same online groups I gathered survey participants from, and here is what they said. Am I a puzzle to be solved? A mystery to other people? A piece that won't fit no matter how hard you try? I don't like the idea of a puzzle piece because once you lose a piece of a puzzle, then it's ruined. I hate the idea that they want us to fit in. Looking at the conclusions, we see a difference between the groups and what images and terms they prefer. The autistic adults do not prefer the puzzle piece, whereas the other two groups rated them as preferred. Autistic adults preferred identity-first language, while the other two groups preferred person-first language. My recommendations would be to adjust current clinical and research language to include identity-first language. A need for additional research, larger sample size, changing and altering language to fit the person. And my advice for providers is to use the term the individual feels most comfortable with. I would like to thank the LEN program, all my fellow trainees, Megan, Maya, Auburn, Kelly, Janice, Trish Miller, my team at IT Education, and ITHR, and everyone who participated in the survey.
The UC Davis Mind Institute was created in 1998 with a promise to find cures for neurodevelopmental disorders. Every day, our physicians and researchers come closer to fulfilling that promise. Their groundbreaking research on autism, Fragile X syndrome, chromosome 22q11.2 deletion syndrome, ADHD, and other brain disorders are helping children achieve their fullest potential. Please visit our website to find out more about current studies, upcoming events, and how you can help make a difference.